Nityanand Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Welcome all of you for the Bhagavatam class. Today is a very, very special verse from the 7th canto, 4th chapter, text number 19. You all want English or Devanagari? Which one? You'll put which one you want? Nityam Nirjita Kako Ekra Krishayan Kriya Matajis Nityam Nirjita Kako Saha he Hiranyakashipu Itham thus Nirjita conquered Kakub all directions within the universe. Ekarat the one emperor of the whole universe. Vishayan material sense objects. Priyan very pleasing. Yata upajosham as much as possible. Bhunjanaha enjoying. Na did not. Adrapyat was satisfied. Ajitendriyaha, being unable to control the senses. His divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, in spite of achieving the power to control, what happened to this? It is alive. In spite of achieving the power to control in all directions, and in spite of enjoying all types of dear sense gratification, as much as possible, Hiranyakashipu was dissatisfied because instead of controlling his senses, he remained their servant. Please repeat after me. In spite of achieving the power to control in all directions, and in spite of enjoying all types of dear sense gratification, as much as possible, Hiranyakashipu was dissatisfied because instead of controlling his senses, he remained their servant. Report. This is an example of asuric life. Atheists can advance materially and can create an extremely comfortable situation for the senses. But because they are controlled by the senses, they cannot be satisfied. This is the effect of modern civilization. Materialists are very much advanced in enjoying money and women, yet dissatisfaction prevails within human society because human society cannot be happy and peaceful without Krishna consciousness. As far as material sense gratification is concerned, go on increasing their enjoyment as far as they can imagine. But because people in such a material condition are servants of their senses, they cannot be satisfied. Hiranyakashipu was a vivid example of this dissatisfied state of humanity. So this morning we are reading from the 7th canto, 4th chapter, entitled Hiranyakashipu terrorizes the universe. Our acharyas have compared Hiranyakashipu and Vena. Both were atheistic. But the difference is, Vena was afraid of rishis like Bhrigu, who had the ability to curse and burn down an entire dynasty. So, because he had no tapobalam. Who? Vena. Katamopina Vena Syat Panchanam Purusham Prati. There is a verse which says that Parikshit is asking if Shishupal was a Dveshi, but he attained Krishna. And Kamsa was also a cruel person and fearful of Krishna. How these people attain the liberated platform, liberation? How could they attain liberation? And the answer was, these people were, of course, cruel and envious and all that, but they were constantly remembering Krishna. Because of that remembrance, remembrance is absolute. Whether a child touches fire or adult touches fire, the effect is same. Similarly, Krishna is like fire. This personification of purity, personification of, love. So anybody who comes in contact with him gets purified. So these people got purified. But what about Vena? Vena was not a devotee, nor did he remember Krishna. So because of that, Vena was atheist, but he was not connecting to Krishna in fear or envy also. Because one shouldn't connect in fear or envy, one should connect in love. Kamat bhayat kamso dveshat chedyad daya nrupa sambandhat krishnayah snehat yoyam bhaktya vayam vibho. Like that Narada is telling Yudhishthir, you see, the gopis of Vrindavan are in pure love with Krishna. And Kamsa was in great fear of Krishna. And Shishupal was envious of Krishna. And Vrishnis, Yadus, they had a bodily relationship with Krishna as one of the family members. And all of you Pandavas, you are connected to Krishna in devotion, bhakti. So, in the same manner, Anybody who is fortunate will be connected to Krishna in some way and they can get liberated. Whereas, Katamopi na Vena Syat Panchanam Purusham Prati. But Vena was not connected in any way. He was cut off from Krishna and doing his own independently enacted activities. Therefore, he didn't get liberated, he said. So, comparing Vena and Hiranyakashipu, what is the difference between these two fellows? Both were atheistic and materialistic, but the difference is Hiranyakashipu had performed a severe tapasya, to increase his power. For example, students also do severe tapasya to get into IIT. You will see that, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, IIT, JEE, entrance exams, they write and they get into IIT or some similar institute. That is also one type of tapasya, but it is mundane tapasya. Correct, no? So by performing severe mundane tapasya, you become materially powerful. Huh? Similarly, somebody wants to go abroad. They have to slog hard. Huh? Many things they have to do. They have to please the boss and please the professor to get a recommendation. Hmm. Just like a dog wags the tail to the master to get some biscuit or something. Similarly, in this world, people are ready to wag their tail to the boss to get increment in salary or get promotion or to get a foreign chance. Now, they are ready to flatter the boss and wag the tail. People are ready to do. So, and also they are ready to slog hard to prove to the boss that look at me and look at my hard work. Please look at me with a sympathetic eye. There are many people who go to political parties and uh, they hang around there. It's called lobbying, we call it. They lobby, hoping that someday I will get some post there, isn't it? But they slog like donkeys when it comes to canvassing. They right from early morning till late at night they are going around canvassing for the party, and then the boss is saying, "Oh, this fellow has slogged so hard for my party. Okay, I'll give you some post." To get some post in this world, people slog also very much. That is called material tapasya. There are people going from Pune to Mumbai by train daily. There's a season ticket bogie. Just because one company job is giving them 500 rupees more. The company is giving free season ticket pass for them. Just to get that extra 500 rupees, they do this much tapasya daily up down. And they want to kill the time somehow, so they play cards while going to Bombay. So devotees may be thinking, oh, I get to go to Pune to Bombay. Good time to read Bhagavatam, isn't it? The devotees will utilize the time for studying Bhagavatam or doing extra chanting or something. But these fellows don't mind going from Pune to Bombay to get that 500 rupees. And for that, they have to kill the time somehow. Either you read Time Pass magazine or you play cards. So, in this way, these are all material tapasya. By material tapasya, one may materially become powerful sometimes. There are scientists. In When I was in my IIT days, I have seen boys who join PhD. Sometimes 7, 8 years they do PhD. And by the time they pass out of PhD, they have like beard like Rabindranath Tagore, long hair, long flowing hair. Because in laboratory they spend days and months together doing research, and going to the library and gathering, information and publishing papers. They look like sages. Then the only thing is that tapasya is material tapasya. They slog hard to, conduct experiments and get some results and publish some papers. And then you may get a chance to go abroad and then come back and you can become a professor in a very premier institute or something like that. Correct now? People slog hard very much materially. So, by this fellow also, Hiranyakashipu also, he performed a material tapasya to Brahma. He was actually anti-Vishnu. Who? Hiranyakashipu. He was anti-Vishnu and he was doing tapasya to Brahma to get some very, very great power. And because he got tremendous tapobalam, power, even the Rishis Munis were afraid of him. There were many Rishis Munis who would go to his sabha. Narada will say that in one of the verses, Narada says here, says, this is Here it comes. In one of the verses, Narada says that, what to speak of other people, even all the rishis and munis, including all the devatas and even including myself also, he says, we were all in the sabha, flattering him, praising him. Continuously, muhu, muhu, he's saying. Huh? Again and again, we were praising him so that he will not become upset and create trouble. Of course, sages like Narada Prabhupada writes that they are not under the control of Hiranyakashipu. At the same time, Narada knows how to stay in touch with him in such a manner that his devotional service will go on and his program of preaching will not be affected. So, therefore, Narada says like that. So this fellow, even Rishis Munis were afraid of him. He says he controlled everybody. So then again, Acharyas have compared Hiranyakashipu's control of the material nature with Prithu Maharaj controlling material nature. What is the difference between the two? They have said the difference is Prithu Maharaj performed yajna. Almost close to 100 yajnas he performed. 99 yajnas he did. So every yajna is meant for the pleasure of Supreme Lord. Then, after performing those yajnas, he looked at the earth and she's not yielding anything. He contemplated for a long time and then became angry on the earth. I have worshipped the Supreme Lord duly for his pleasure, and why is it that you are not yielding anything? Then she took the form of a cow and she was fleeing away. Then Prithu Maharaj took a bow and arrow and chased after her all over the universe. And then she begged for compassion. Prithu Maharaj said, I am not going to spare you unless you yield all types of resources for all the living entities, all my praja to live peacefully. Then she said that before you arrived, there were atheistic fellows headed by Vena. They were eating grains and becoming plumpy, but not engaging in devotional service. So he's calling them as a chori bhute. Chori bhute means they had body of a thief only. They were just eating and getting plumpy. So I was not eager to give them grains because they increase the burden of the earth. So therefore, I don't think I don't have grains. I have everything within my earth and I can give you yield. But I am only worried that this should not be misused. Then Prithu Maharaj gave her assurance. Don't worry. Don't fear. I am here. He is an Shaktavesh incarnation. He said, I will ensure that all your yield will be rightly utilized for the pleasure of Vishnu, Yajna by Vishnu. After he gave the assurance, then she became like a Kamadugha, like a Kamadhenu cow. Just like Kamadhenu cow gives milk. Like that she gave everyone everything. There were vegetables, there were fruits, cereals, there was milk, the abundance of gold, silver, diamond, and abundance of Navaratna. There were rains and everything that living entities need for a happy life. So what we call a samriddhi or a prosperity. He gave abundant prosperity. So now Prithu Maharaj obtained all these gifts of the earth by properly propitiating Supreme Lord, performing yajna and everything. But this fellow, Hiranyakashipu, he didn't want to perform yajna for Vishnu. In fact, he had a plan to finish off Vishnu because Vishnu killed his brother. He was envious of Vishnu. So he prayed to Brahma, did tapasya. And through tapasya, he was trying to control earth. Just like here you see, it says in the previous verses, you will see that this fellow didn't go to Brahmaloka. Where he went after doing tapasya? Svargaloka, Indraloka. Why? He knew that Brahmaloka is filled with all sages and saints very seriously doing chanting. He thought, that's not a place I want to go. I want to go to a place where enjoyment is prominent. So he went to heavenly planet and he drove out Indra. Get out of your seat. He went and sat there and drank liquor. And his eyes were rotating like coppery balls. It is mentioned always. And all the devatas were trembling because this fellow could go anywhere he wanted. And no one can ask him. Why? Why? Because nobody came to even fight with him. He had no tension at all. Why? Because everybody would come near him and seeing the certificate that Brahma gave him. What all benedictions this fellow wanted. They would see the certificate and run away from there. My Lord, dangerous fellow. He can't be killed inside, not outside, not in the sky, not in the ground, and not by human, not by an animal, not in the day, not in the night. Practically, it's close to something like Amaratva, immortality. They would say, we don't want to fight with you. You thought we will be defeated. Nobody came near him out of great fear. So, in the previous verses, it says that Narada is telling, O Maharaj Yudhishthir, descendant of Pandu, by dint of his personal power, Hiranyakashipu being situated on the throne of King Indra, controlled the inhabitants of all other planets. He's saying, the two Gandharvas, Vishwavasu and Tumburu, I myself, Narada is saying, I myself, and the Vidyadharas, Apsaras, and sages all offered prayers to him again and again just to glorify him. Saying, this is the verse I was telling. Jagur Mahendra Sanamojasa Sitam Vishwa Vasustum Burarasmadadayaha Gandharva Siddharshayos Suvan Muhur Vidyadharashta Sarasascha Pandava. He's telling, being worshipped by sacrifices offered with great gift by those who strictly followed the principles of Varna and Ashrama. Hiranyakashipu, instead of offering shares of oblations to demigods, he accepted them all himself. You see, when you do a sacrifice in the tongue of Vishnu, the fire coming out of sacrificial arena is tongue of Vishnu. Sacrificial kund itself is mouth of Vishnu. So, in that, if you're pouring, it's like pouring water in the root of the tree. Correct, no? You pour water in the root of the tree, it goes to all the branches, leaves, twigs, flowers, fruits. Like that, if you are offering to Vishnu, then subsequently the sacrifices are taken, and whatever you are offering, it goes to different demigods. They get their share according to their position. If you are a bigger demigod, you get bigger share. Otherwise, if you are a smaller demigod, you get smaller share like that. Just like, for example, in some home, they call some Brahmanas. Brahmanas also, there are 2-3 levels of Brahmans. One is a leader, and one is next level, and then some Brahmanas just make the small arrangements. So everybody, they give them different dakshina to different people. Correct, no? Like that, the devatas also, they are going to get their share. But this fellow arranged in such a way that when the ahuti was offered, all the shares would go only to him. He usurped all of it. And all the devatas are starving. So, therefore, that was the situation of the devata. That is mentioned here. They are saying here. Here it said, it's a very interesting verse. The devatas go to pray to the Lord. Tasve namostu kasthayai yatratma haririshvarah yadgatva nanivartante shantaha sannyasino amalaha. See, peaceful living entities, namely the devotees of the Lord, sannyasino amalaha, those who have renounced the world and who are amalaha, pure-hearted, yadgatva nanivartante, they go to the Vaikuntha planet from where they never come down. Yatra Atma Haririshvaraha, where Lord Hari resides eternally, the supreme controller. Tasmo Namostu Kashtayai, they are saying. Which means they face the direction in which Lord Hari is situated. And then they offered a prayer to the Lord. Iti te samyatatmanah samahita dhiyo amalaha upadastur hrishikesham vinidra vayu bhojanaha. Demigods performed severe penances. They, instead of having Agni Bhojan, now they have Vayu Bhojan. Why? Because Hiranyakashipu already deprived them of all the sacrificial offerings like that. See, in our gross state, sometimes it is difficult for us to comprehend the subtler ways of offering things. Correct, no? For example, you take a flower and show to Lord like this. Nothing happens in our mind. We just do like this. We just rotate the hand like this. Looks like exercise. So how can one get the feeling? Actually, according to psychologists, they say, like, they talk about the left brain and right brain, isn't it? Women have right brain active, men have left brain active. Men's brain work more logically. Women's brain have creativity. So if a bunch of flowers is given to a woman, they perceive it as affection. If you give a bunch of flowers to a man, he will say, "What is this?" It doesn't appeal to you so much. Anybody get too much appeal with a bunch of flowers? You don't. So this is a very finer way of expressing affection. Correct, no? When you're offering the flower to the Lord, a fragrant flower from the garden, take it and offer to the Lord. Lord is able to perceive it as affection. Oh, this devotee is showing me. He says that, no, Pushpam, Patram. But if you give me Pushpa, I feel it's your affection for me. The Lord is saying. Similarly, you may wonder, take fire and show like this. Hey, what is this showing fire? What is this fire you are showing to the Lord? The fire is lit on a wick, and the wick contains ghee, and the ghee represents our false ego. So we are actually lighting the ghee dripped wick with fire, which means we are burning away our false ego. And also we are using that lighted lamp to show the beautiful face of the Lord, chest of the Lord, shoulder of the Lord, navel of the Lord, feet of the Lord. In South India, you will see that in temples they show like that. That means I burn away my false ego to show the beauty of the Lord to the world. That's the meaning, actually. And that's one meaning. Another meaning, the offerings are given to the Lord through the medium of fire. For example, if I have to please a goat, I have to give grass. If I have to please you, I have to give you prasad. Correct, no? If you have to please a pig, you know what is to be given to him. Everybody receives something which gives them pleasure. Similarly, for pleasing the Lord, you have to offer medium through fire. In the dawn of creation, Lord created two things from his body, till and kusha grass, which came from Lord's body. So these are used also as agents to transfer something from us to the Lord. Similarly, another agent to transfer anything from us to Lord is the fire. That's why in the Kartik month we are offering lamp. So we wonder what happens by rotating the lamp. By rotating lamp, you are actually offering your heart to him. This is the method of offering. As we become purer and purer in the heart, we understand the subtler and subtler ways of expressing affection to the people. Like for example, in many places, if somebody puts me a garland, people clap hands. But in our ISKCON temples, we don't clap hands. Why? This is not for clapping hands you put this. This is put why? This is actually offered to Srimad Radharani or Krishna. It is actually very sacred. He says that, no, Uddhava. Uddhava, what is it? Tvayopabhukta Sragganda Vachaspati Alankar. Like he says, Uchishta Bojano Rajan Tavamayam Jayamahi. That is the verse which says. So he says that your Uchishta, whatever, my dear Lord, you have eaten, when we eat your remnants, we become purified. Similarly, this is also Lord's remnants. Lord has worn it and has touched Krishna's body. So it is very, very divine item it is. So when it is put for the speaker, why is it put for the speaker? Because may the speaker become sanctified by this and let him speak words which will enlighten the people who hear from him. Let this garland benefit the speaker as well as the hearers. Like I went to Mayapur once. In the morning, Mangalarti, they told me to sing. I was about to begin. So one person came and put a garland. So they put the garland. Why? Because when you put the garland, your consciousness is very good. Oh, this is Lord's garland. And the Lord is standing in front of me. So with feelings, you can sing. That's the idea. Whereas in outside places, when you go, a politician is called to the stage and they give him a garland. That is given for honoring him. That is not offered to anybody. It is first offered to whom? Him only. Therefore, people clap hands. Acha, aapko मान सम्मान दिया आपको, giving some honor. So that is a very big difference. So when we are actually taking the remnants of Lord's food, remnants of the Lord's garland, things that are offered to the Lord. So these are finer ways of dealing with the Lord and the devotees also. Like for example, when you want to welcome somebody, you chant Hare Krishna and welcome them, correct, no? So you go to the airport or somewhere and you dance and chant and welcome. For outsiders, it's a new thing. What is this? Why are these people jumping, dancing? What happened now? Anything happened now suddenly? And then some Maharaja is coming and People are wondering, who is that person who is coming? And people are going and putting garland for him. Everybody is dhadal falling on the ground. In America also, when people saw 200, 300 people falling dhadal on the ground, everybody got shocked. Kya ho gaya? What happened? Because they don't know. What is obeisances? They don't know. What is garland? They don't know. Why everybody is jumping up and down? They don't know. Living entity is like a very astonished living entity. But no problem with their astonishment, because eventually they will come to devotion service. They get some sukruti by this, by watching all these things. One staff reporter came to Prabhupada and says, Swamiji, is this the way you get welcome everywhere you go? All people suddenly fall on the ground? Or they jump up and down like this? Prabhupada said, I don't care how people welcome me, but I care very much how they welcome my mission. Prabhupada said, I am more concerned that they accept chanting Hare Krishna. They accept Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. That's more important. But everybody knows, devotees know that your acceptance of scripture and all those things are wonderful. But most important is to respect a devotee. If you don't respect the person who is like a walking, talking Shastra, one who is carrying the Lord in the heart, it is through that personality we are getting everything. So therefore, by respecting the devotee, everything else follows. So therefore, there is a method of offering. Now here it is said, Vayu Bhojana. All the devatas were only drinking Vayu. Vinidra. They gave up their sleep. Yeah. And then it says, Itite Samyatatmanaha. So they performed severe penances. This devatas. Yeah. And they control their minds also. Samyatatma means one who has controlled the mind. Samahita diyo amalaha. So they steadied their mind. Why did they steady their mind? Because their minds were very agitated, in disturbance. Hey, this fellow is not allowing us to live peacefully. He is torturing everybody, troubling. Even the trees were giving fruits. They thought, if I don't give fruit, this fellow will cut me down or burn me. They were afraid. Earth was also giving yield. Clouds were showering rain. Everybody was doing their work, not out of affection. But they had to do it because this fellow was an atheist, and he was forcing them with his tapobalam. He was getting everything done from them forcibly. So all the natural phenomenon, they were all yielding. So it's a very amazing thing. You can see there are two ways you can produce things in the nature. One is by pleasing Lord Vishnu. The nature becomes very blissful, and she starts yielding everything, effortlessly. Just like it is said, Kamam Bavarsha Parjanya Sarva Kama Dugha Mahi Shishichusma Vrajan Gavaha Payaso Udasvatir Muda. That verse says, in the reign of Yudhishthir Maharaj. At that time, the rains were the clouds were showering rain at appropriate time, especially in the Chaturmas time. During the Chaturmas time, it's supposed to be raining continuously for 4 months. And the other seasons, the crops grow, and then you can reap the, fasal, everything. So rains were coming on time. The cows' udders were filled with milk. When they were running, it was producing muddy milk on the ground. Like that it is said. And also the oceans were producing navaratnas. Mountains were producing minerals like gold, silver, diamond, and everything. And the fields were full of crops, and the tall crops growing with a lot of grains fructifying. The trees were laden with fruits, ripe fruits. Gardens are full of fragrant flowers. Everything was flourishing everywhere. And Kuntimaran is telling, my Lord, look at the nature. Ime janapada sraddha supakpaushadi virudah vanadrinati yudan vanto hedante tava vikshitai. She's telling, by Krishna, by your glance, the nature is flourishing. When does Krishna glance at the nature like this and make it flourish? When Krishna smiles, nature smiles. But for making Krishna smile, we have to do yajna. And in Kali Yuga, we chant the Hare Krishna. And in each Yuga, there is a method of pleasing the Supreme Lord. So this is, you please Krishna, and Krishna smiles at nature, and nature awards you everything. Triangle is complete now. So this is the best way. For example, a son or daughter, they please the parents, and parents release money from their pocket to go to school, college, further education and accommodation, everything. And then with those facilities, children study further and earn their degree and come and assist the business of the father. Then the loop is complete. Another way is to loot money from the bureau and go for smoking and drinking. Correct, no? You get money by when father goes to take bath, you just put hand in his pocket and take out money. Hmm? Or you take out money from others' purse or from the bureau. Or you put a forgery signature and get money from father's bank account. Correct, no? So this is a forceful way of getting money. Huh? So everybody can understand what is right procedure, what is wrong procedure. So when Yudhishthira Maharaj or Prithu Maharaj, they adopted the right procedure of this triangle which I told you. Please the Supreme Lord. Lord smiles at the nature. Nature fulfills all the requirements. That's how the world was. Whereas this Hiranyakashipu, he was envying the Supreme Lord, getting powers through demigods like Brahma, and with his own so-called prowess, he was trying to, force the material nature to give. But do you think material nature is so easy for him to control? So when one tries to meddle with material nature, he only creates a mess. Just like you can see modern scientists also, they don't want to pray to the Supreme Lord. They don't want to lead people back to Godhead, but they want to use some techniques and skills to loot the resources of material nature. Uh, yeah. Like you don't do yajna, water doesn't come from the clouds. Then you bring the boring, go 3,000 feet down. And earth, give me water, give me. Like Mother Earth, it's like a boy going and snatching the purse of the mother. Mother, give me money. Papa is not giving money. So you give me money. Mother is saying, Beta, wait a minute. Take permission from Papa, then I'll give you. He's saying, no, Papa will not give me. You give me. Like that. They are forcefully getting water out. Actually, you don't need to put boring at all. If you do proper yajna and the rains come from the sky, rivers will be flooded with water. There will be so much abundance. Now you find the same way scientists are putting fertilizers, chemical fertilizers to grow the plants fast, make the yield increased. And there is also scarcity of rice and wheat and all. The reason is everybody want to grow tobacco, they want to grow sugarcane, but they don't want to grow rice, and because these are simple crops which are staple crops. And then the crops like sugarcane and tobacco, they are cash crops. So when living entities become greedy, they want to go for cash crops. So nobody want to produce rice or wheat. So then there is a scarcity of food, basic staple food. Prabhupada said you will not die without cigarette, but you will die without grains. Correct, no? How foolish it is. That means the more the man becomes greedy, the more man ignores God, then even material life becomes very difficult. What to speak of, going back to God, that's a far-fetched idea. Material life can become miserable by not aligning with God's plan for us. So Hiranyakashipu was forcibly getting everything like this. And here is a very interesting thing in this verse that we are reading today. It says, in spite of achieving the power to control in all directions, and in spite of enjoying all types of dear sense gratification as much as possible, yatopajosham bhunjano, he says, natripyat ajitendriyaha, he says, Hiranyakashipu was dissatisfied because instead of controlling his senses, he remained their servant. See, the nature of material greed is that the more you get things of this world for your enjoyment, the more you'll be dissatisfied. There are so many stories about this. There is one story of Tolstoy. He says that, once a boy went to a big landlord and said, sir, if you can give me some piece of land, it will be nice. I can, grow crops and then make money and I can earn my livelihood. So Jamindar said, I'm very pleased with you. So he said, you run in this direction as long as you wish. But before the sun sets, you have to be back in the evening. That much land I can give it to you. I have the entire earth with me, like that he said. So the boy became too greedy. Imagine if you were to run in the morning at 9, by evening 6 you have to arrive. How you will calculate? At least half the time you will go forward, other half the time you will come back. But the boy became greedy. Probably he must have run till 3 o'clock. 9 to 3 he ran forward because he thought, return I'll come very fast, he thought. But then in the name of returning very fast, on the way he foamed in his mouth and died because of excessive greed. Correct, no? So there is a tendency in this world and among the living entities, the proprietorship and controllership is what is mentioned here about Hiranyakashipu. So I ultimately, if you see this type of people, they are controlled by three things: lust, anger, and greed. Lust, anger, and greed are sitting in our senses, mind, and intelligence, and they can completely make us slaves. So how does one become a slave? For example, you can see Pururava became controlled by Urvashi. So he became controlled by a woman due to sexual attraction. He became completely controlled. He actually comes in Chandravamsh. He's a glorious king in one sense. In fact, his glory was sung by Narada Muni in the Indraloka. Narada was once singing Pururava's glories, how great earthly king he was. But then in that Sabha, Urvashi heard his glories. And then she became attracted. Oh, is there such a king on earth? I will find out who that fellow is. He appears to be a great hero. Simply by hearing his glories. So she came down. And then when she came into his life, from that point on, he became a miserable fellow. After that, he became, actually, she didn't become attached to him, but he became attached to her. So he became attached to her and she lived with him for a while and left him. He went mad after that. This is an example of how one becomes controlled by mind and senses. So he became controlled in his mind and senses. He just couldn't escape. In the same manner, one can become controlled by greed. Here, Hiranyakashipu's greed is very evident. Like you can see, Dhritarashtra wanted to be king of the earth, isn't it? Here, Hiranyakashipu wants to be king of all the three worlds. He wants to bring everything under his control. And he doesn't want to recognize the master to whom all the three worlds belong. Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. Krishna says that. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvakam. So he wants kingdom of God, but without God. That is his. See, Dhruva was not like this. Dhruva wanted a Dhruva Loka, which is better than Brahma's Loka also. But he never told Vishnu, my dear sir, you get off. I want to rule the world without you. He never said that. He actually became a lover of Vishnu, Dhruva Maharaj. So he agreed to keep Krishna in the center. At the same time, he had a great material ambition. But after seeing Lord Vishnu, that material ambition also dissolved. He said, Kacham Vichinmanapi Devaratnam Swamin Kritarthosmi Varam Nayaja, he said. That means he completely became a devotee and he lost the propensity for proprietorship and controllership and all that. Whereas this fellow, he wanted to be master of all the three worlds and he wanted to root out Vishnu from his program. And he wanted himself to be the pivot and everyone and everything should revolve around him and everyone should be at his beck and call. That was his mindset, this Hiranyakashipu. So that is actually greed. Greed means you desire things beyond what you deserve. You are not satisfied with what is gifted by Krishna to you. Sometimes even children, you can see that. If there are some children, they snatch toys of all other children. And other children cry, they say, you get lost. I'm going to enjoy everything. Sometimes they do bullying also, bullying. In one of the schools, they were requesting, can you please speak on bullying? Why? Why do you need that? Oh, we are finding a lot of trouble with some children. They do bullying. They take away the rights and privileges of other children and they dominate them, boss over them. So that is the greed means you want to usurp. You can see that this tendency has been seen by many empires. They have a tendency. Now you may have a question. If one should be satisfied with what one has, then why did even in India we find Rajarishi kings also try to expand their kingdoms bigger and bigger? So Prabhupada gives an explanation to that in one of the purports. He says, if a Rajarishi king sees that his neighborhood kingdom, they're drinking, smoking, drugs and everything, he will make a phone call to the king and ask him, dear sir, what is going on in your kingdom? You are ruining the people. And people are not God conscious, people are just degraded. So what is your plan? So either you pay tribute to us and follow the spiritual program that we are going to give you, or we will wage a war. So even when he wages, and how will they wage the war? It will be in the outskirts of the kingdom. People will be normal life will be going on. Nobody will worry about the war. Everybody is busy in their own activities. But the war is happening in the outskirts. And then this religious king proves to the other atheistic king how powerful he is. Then the atheistic king surrenders to the religious king. And then he says, okay, sir, sorry, now I'll pay you tribute regularly, and you can give a special program to all our people. That's how the kingdoms are expanded. So, like the golden age of the Guptas, you say, that is the period of Chanakya and Chandragupta, if you see. So, a lot of dharmic programs were propagated at that time. So that people will not remain atheistic and people will not break the regulative principles. Ultimately, people should be led back home, back to Godhead. That's the main intention. If one wants to dominate, the domination is not for exploitation. The domination of religious kings is actually a healthy possession. Healthy possession to, like somebody is engaging somebody in smoking and drinking, you take the same praja and engage them in Krishna service, so that they can benefit. That's the goal. Otherwise, this fellow, Hiranyakashipu's program is different program. He want to occupy all the three worlds to make whom God? Himself only. He want to become himself God. And he want to root out Vishnu. He want to propagate atheistic culture all over the three worlds. So, because he is bereft of Vishnu, because of that he was completely dissatisfied. Here comes the most important point. Although he controlled all the demigods, even the rishis and munis also, he appeared to be very powerful. Nobody dared to go near him. He was ruling all the three worlds. Nevertheless, he had one enemy whom he could not manage to control, which is? Not senses, Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad. Now Prahlad, if you see Prahlad, for example, Prahlad never feared his father. He didn't cry. He didn't run away. He didn't lift another sword to fight with the father. Although this fellow tortured Prahlad, he was, what was power of Prahlad? Prahlad's power is power of God. Prahlad knew that behind me, Krishna is there always. If he want to protect me, he'll protect me. If I have to die, then only he will allow me to die. And this, my father is making a big show. He is not God. He is an insignificant personality in front of God. We all are like insignificant insects, even in front of demigods. What to speak of the Supreme Lord Krishna? We are insignificant speck, not even a dust particle. If you see even what scientists are teaching about the galaxies and Milky Way, in the Milky Way that they're talking about, 1 lakh light years radius and 10,000 light years thickness, our galaxy they talk about. In that, our whole solar system is just one dot. That's all. It's just one dot, very small thing. If our solar system is dot, what is our Earth? What is our situation? So we are not. One should understand one's insignificant position. And Prahlada was fully convinced. He said, we jivas are tiny tots. We are insignificant in front of even devatas. What to speak of Supreme Lord Krishna? If Supreme Lord, who is the true controller, real controller, everlasting controller, eternal controller, Lord Vasudeva is the real master. Anybody else is taking the role of master in this world, they are only representative of Lord Vasudeva for a certain period of time. Like somebody can be prime minister in some country for some period of time. Somebody is a chief minister for some period of time. Somebody is a school principal for some period of time. Somebody is a CEO of a company for some period of time. Somebody is a temple president in some ISKCON temple for some period of time. Everybody takes lead on behalf of Lord Vasudeva. And Lord Vasudeva is not posted. He is eternally the master. He has been master since time immemorial, and he will be master always. And he is the only true master. And also he is such an amazing master. He is a non-exploitative master. He is the most merciful master of all jivas. And that nobody in the creation who can think of doing as much good as he can do for the jivas. Because it's like a mother can never harm her own child. Mother or father. The mother is cooking something and feeding her child. And the father is bringing all the groceries and everything to see that the child is raised properly. So like that, Krishna is a mother and father, be all and end all for the jivas. But because the jivas cannot access Krishna directly, some leader comes in between. But the leader should be like a transparent glass. Through that leader, people should be able to see Krishna. And he should become a transparent via media to transmit what Krishna wants to give to jivas. So from Lord to the jivas and jivas to Lord, you should become a transparent glass. Absolutely not opaque. Absolutely transparent. Prahlad was like that. So Prahlad was like a superconductor. He could completely take the mercy of Lord Vishnu and give it to his friends while preaching to them. And then that kind of transfer he could do. So the more we all become conductors of the Lord's mercy, to that degree we can do great good to ourselves also and great good to the world also. And Hiranyakashipu was 100% opaque. Completely like a, he was not letting any mercy of Vishnu come to the jivas. And he didn't allow any jivas to worship Vishnu. I am in between. He was completely blocking the mercy. 100% resistance. And Prahlad had zero resistance. You can see that. So this Prahlad, who had firm faith that, Lord Vishnu is the supreme, and he is the supreme controller, supreme proprietor, supreme enjoyer. He is behind me. So he had power of God behind him. So because of that, Hiranyakashipu could not touch him. That's what the Lord also told the devatas. When devatas went to him, see, the Lord is telling, Ma bhaishta vibhuda sreshtaha sarvesham bhadramastuvaha. Lord is saying, Ma bhaishta, do not fear, devatas. Hey, vibhuda sreshta. Hey, you guys are best of the learned people. Why are you trembling like this? Don't be fearful, my dear devatas. Sarvesham bhadramastuvaha. May there be auspiciousness to all of you. Maddarshanam hi bhutanam sarvashreyopapattaye. Now that you have come to see me, all supreme auspiciousness has already come in your life. You have nothing to fear now. समझ लो कि वो मर ही गया वो हिरण्यकशिपु. बहुत ज्यादा समय खींच नहीं पाएगा वो. He won't be able to do it. That time has come. Do you think I am not aware of his behavior? The Lord is saying, Jnatametasya dauratmyam daiteya asadasya yat. Is saying, Jnatam etasya dauratmyam. All atrocities that fellow is doing, I am completely aware. Jnatam, I know it. Lord is saying. Daitaya apasadasyata yat is saying. Sadasya apasadasya. I know that this fellow's atrocious activities of this great demoniac personality, I know. Tatsya shantim karishyami kalam tavat pratikshata. Very soon, I will silence his activities. I will stop all his nonsensical activities. But kalam tavat pratikshata. You have to wait for some time. And then Lord is saying, here, very famous verse. Yada deveshu vedeshu goshu vipreshu sadhushu dharme mayi cha vidveshaha sava ashu vinashyati. When one is envious of the demigods, who represent the supreme personality of Godhead of the Vedas, which give all knowledge of the cows, Brahmins, Vaishnavas, and religious principles, and ultimately of me, the supreme personality of Godhead, he and his civilization will be vanquished without delay. Nirvairaya prashantaya swasutaya mahatmane prahladaya yada druhyet dhanishepi varorjitam. When Hiranyakashipu teases the great devotee Prahlad, his own son, who is peaceful and sober, who has no enemy, I shall kill Hiranyakashipu immediately, despite the benediction of Brahma. He's saying. See, amazing personality, the Supreme Lord. See, Lord is aware that Hiranyakashipu is doing atrocity. And Lord is aware that demigods are already trembling. And the Lord is aware that demigods have gone to Brahma. But is not taking any action, keeping quiet. What is the reason for that? He wants to purify the demigods also. But then the Lord is saying, I am going to come. Not because you guys are trembling in front of me and you are begging me, please come. No, that's not the reason I will come. I am going to come because there is one special personality there. Who is it? Prahlad. He is completely nirvairam. He is non-envious. Shanta Vigraham. Shanta. He is very peaceful. He has no hankering. He is my pure devotee. You guys go and learn from him. Look at him, what kind of personality he is. And because when somebody tortures as a pure devotee, then I will come to protect my pure devotee, please my pure devotees, and along with that protection, you guys also will get some protection. Till then, tavat pratikshata. Till then, you wait. Don't make big halla gulla now. Be patient. Your vayu bhojana. Yeah, Venidra. You have given up your sleep, and you have given up your eating, and your severe penance you are doing for me because you want to get rid of trouble. But look at Prahlada. Yeah, he is not praying to me to get rid of trouble, but still he is blissfully situated in pure devotional service to me. So in this way, Lord told them. So what is the speciality of Prahlad? See, when one becomes a devotee of the Lord, and the Lord conducts our senses and our mind and intelligence, then you are called Goswami. Not that my special master in one lecture was telling, Goswami doesn't mean you become master of senses. He said, how can you? You never are master. You are always servant, he was telling. Either you can be servant of Maya or you can be servant of Krishna. Choice is yours. If you are servant of Krishna, then Antaranga Shakti, she will conduct her mercy through you. Who is that? Srimati Radharani. She will make your body a conductor of her grace. And then she will give Krishna's grace to the jivas through you. And she will also offer service opportunities for you and people in your custody. And then she will receive the service and then bring more and more mercy. We can become conductors of internal potency, like that, by surrendering to Radha and Krishna. On the other hand, if we don't surrender to the Antaranga Shakti, we surrender to Bahiranga Shakti, which is Durga, Durga Devi. And then one is severely, like Hiranyakashipu was thinking that he has so much control over the entire universe. Actually, he didn't have control. He was thoroughly exploited by external potency. Just like, for example, a camel is eating the cactus and thinking that the juice of cactus is very wonderful. But what is the juice he was enjoying? His own blood only. Similarly, a person is smoking and thinking, I'm very stylish. Now, who cares whether he's smoking? But he's smoking, he is taking fire inside his mouth. Prabhupada said, you put fire inside your mouth and say you are feeling cool, you are a fool. Isn't it? So these people, in the name of enjoyment, they are actually causing suffering to themselves, and also other passive smokers, they also suffer sitting around them. Correct, no? So these people suffer themselves, give suffering to others, and imagine that suffering, imagining that false pleasure in a diseased state to be enjoyment. Correct, no? So one should not try to enjoy the senses in a diseased state. Right now, we are all in a diseased state in this material world. What is diseased state? Bhogavriti. In Bhogavriti is prominent, we should not try to enjoy. Rather, we should cleanse the Bhogavriti by rendering service to the Lord. Gradually, offering our senses, mind, intelligence to the Supreme Lord through the Guru Parampara. You see? Then only we get purified. And purified senses and mind, they will make us blissful. And what you do for Krishna through purified senses and mind, that is actually called bhakti. True bhakti is engaging purified senses, mind, and intelligence in Krishna service. Otherwise, Hiranyakashipu mentality is he has diseased mind and senses, and he's thinking he's enjoying. Actually, he's suffering, and he's also making the whole universe suffer by his atheistic program. Like that. So these people are called Godas. They are dictated by their mind and senses, by lust and anger and greed. When one loses temper, then one becomes extremely angry, like Dandavakra became angry. Dandavakra was so angry with Krishna, he ran to the battlefield and forgot to take the weapons also. He was so angry. Can you imagine? Like one time, one devotee was looking at the clock and saying, oh, it got so late for the train. He rushed to the railway station, but without taking the ticket. In those days, you need a hard copy ticket. Nowadays, we have soft copy ticket. In those days, there was no soft copy ticket. Then by the time he thought, if I have to go to temple and take back ticket and go to station, by the time train will be gone. He was wondering what to do. So he went and sat in his seat. And TT caught him. Where's the ticket? Then he told his name and he had to pay some fine or whatever. The idea is, when you are very angry, you mess up things, correct, no? So Dandavakra is known for his anger. Similarly, somebody he tries to become a proprietor. So this lust, anger, and greed are taskmasters, which will really trouble a person who is not surrendering to Krishna. Kama dinam kattina katida palita durnideshas yesham triyina tripana karunana upashanti. This verse says that kama dinam, oh my dear Lord Krishna, this kama adi means lust, anger, and greed. These are worst taskmasters, he says. Why are the taskmaster? They slap me, they whip me, they beat me, they punch me, they bury me, and repeatedly make me get up and serve them. And they are natrapa. They never get satisfied. Huh? Lust can never be satisfied. Na upashanti. They never become peaceful. Na karuna. They don't show mercy also on me. Yeah. Even though I collapse on the ground, they again and again pick me up and beat me. Pat, pat. Imagine somebody is falling on the ground. Pat. Again you get up, kick him. Again you give another beating like that. Like that this lust is doing. Huh? And not just in one lifetime. Lifetime after lifetime. I am simply a slave of my lust, a slave of my anger, or slave of my greed. Many people, due to anger, have broken relationships. There was one man, who used to get very angry with his wife. He slapped his wife, and wife naturally went to mother's home. And then after 3 months, again he brought her back. Another 2-3 months, life went. Again he started beating her, left. Now this fellow, 2-3 times it happened. Finally, they ended up in divorce. Now this fellow has to do everything himself now. The whole burden of the family is on him now. Because he says that what can I do? I cannot control my anger. Then go to some doctor, psychiatrist, somebody. Take some treatment if you cannot control your anger. So, alternatively, if one becomes a very serious devotee of the Lord, one can surpass the lower natures. Because when we hand over our mind, senses, and intelligence to Krishna and Guru, then when Lord conducts us, instead of Maya conducting us, basically we all have to be conducted by somebody. Like for example, you work for one company. If you leave that company, you join another company. And in whichever company you join, the company will work through you, getting some work done. Correct, no? So you can work for a liquor company, or you can somebody can work for a temple. Where somebody is doing some auspicious activities. Wherever you work, ultimately everybody's hands, legs, mind, senses are going to be engaged, depending on whom you are hooking up to. So the Shastras teach us that, connect with Antaranga Shakti, Srimati Radharani, and perform those 64 activities given by Rupa Goswami in the Nectar of Devotion. Those 64 regulative principles given by Rupa Goswami are all completely activities under the Antaranga Shakti. And if you are going to disconnect from Antaranga Shakti, then go to Bahiranga Shakti. You will be whipped and slapped and beaten and conducted by Maya Shakti, Maya Devi. That's very painful life. But what happens in painful life? Still, a foolish divinity thinks he's enjoying. For example, Prabhupada says, look at the pig. He's eating stool. Still, he's very fat. That means he is enjoying. Otherwise, how is he fat? Prabhupada is asking. But his enjoyment is of low class. Low class. He's eating stool and thinking he's enjoying. And he also mixes with anybody. He doesn't care who is sister, who is daughter, who is mother. He has sex with anybody. His eating program is horrible. His sex program is even more horrible. This is a pig in Tamoguna. You can see that. Similarly, Rajoguna, you can see that people go to the gym and so much hard work. They have to sweat with all that, exercise and everything. And then they bring out the biceps and look at the mirror, how I look like now. So now I can impress the girls or opposite sex. So lot of hard work people do to impress the people of the world. Similarly, joining the cutthroat competition and rat race, where people burn out their bodies and health and everything simply to impress the other people of the world. They think it is enjoyment. They are actually suffering. One can understand that. In the Sattva-guna, a person actually realizes, actually my senses are cheating me. In Tamaguna and Rajoguna, my mind is cheating me. Now, how do I rise above this cheating mind and senses, which are wicked? Prabhupada uses the word wicked mind and senses. Then let me give my kaya, vacha, manasa, the Supreme Lord. What is that verse? Nikilashva pyavastasu jivan mukta se uchate. Iha yasya harer dasye karmana manasa gira. Nikilashva pyavastasu jivan mukta se uchate. So, karmana manasa gira. body, mind, words. When you start offering to Krishna, then very quickly we get purified. The purer we become, and the mind and senses become purer, we become very peaceful, calm, cool, collected. Eventually become cheerful. And you start tasting sattva, and then through devotion service we go to Vishuddha sattva. Sattva itself is prasanna, but the problem with sattva is you don't remain in sattva, you keep falling back to rajaguna, tamaguna. But one comes to Vishuddha sattva, that life, spiritual life is very sublime. Sukham atyantikam yat tad buddhigrahyam atindriyam veti yatra chaivayam sitaschalati tatvatah yam labdva cha param labham manyatenadikam tatha yasmin stitona dukkena gurunapi vichalyate tam vidya dukkha samyogam viyogam yoga samsthitam. Krishna is telling that once you come to the Vasudev state or Vishuddha sattva, you will think that there is no happiness in this world which can match with this. I don't want. Guru napi vichalyate. Even if mother dies, father dies, some accident takes place, you broke your hand, leg, or you're fired from the job. Anything happens in your life, no difference it makes. Because you are experiencing such a high class bliss. Nothing of this world can affect you. Guru napi vichalyate, he says. And he says, Yam labdva chaparam labham manyate nadikam tata. He says, once you attain that happiness, he says there is no happiness when match to that. Because it is the happiness of the soul in relation to God. So the more we offer ourselves to Krishna through Antaranga Shakti, then Antaranga Shakti will start conducting, through us. Just like the electric wire passes, electricity, and then you see the bulb glowing. Similarly, a devotee through whose body Antaranga Shakti is connecting, two symptoms will be seen. The devotee will become very knowledgeable through the Sambit Shakti, and devotee will become very blissful through the Hladini Shakti. Both these things put together are called Swarup Shakti. So the devotee will become decorated with Swarup Shakti. So in Swarup Shakti, that's what happened to Prahlad. Prahlad became flooded with Swarup Shakti, became cheerful, joyful and enlightened, both. So even in Sattva we have Sukham and Jnanam, but that is temporary. But in Vishuddha Sattva, Sambit and Hladini, that is everlasting. So Prahlada's confidence came from, shelter of the Supreme Lord. And Hiranyakashipu may be a very big, famous asura controlling everything in this world, but he was natripyat, it is said. He was never satisfied. So we have the choice. Do we want to struggle, manashashtani indriyani pakratistani karshati, and try to squeeze out some enjoyment on a material platform from, women, followers, wealth, and all these things, and drag on in this world till death and keep repeatedly taking birth again and again? And that is one route. The another route is make an effort to pull out oneself from surrender to Maya and start slowly offering and increasing our surrender to Guru and Krishna. So it can be done inch by inch, little by little. We can go from Maya company to Krishna company. Increase the amount of time you spend with Antaranga Shakti. Increase your services, increase your chanting, increase your reading. And that is this month, Kartik month. So Kartik month it's like putting an iron rod in fire. It becomes very fiery. So absorb ourselves more and more in spiritual energy, and you will become more and more liberated. And the more we absorb ourselves in material energy, suddenly we'll find, hey, my hands are tied. Hey, this hand is also tied. Hey, this leg is also tied. My Lord, I have no freedom now. But the more you put yourself in material energy, we become more and more tied. A man becoming a slave of a woman, a man becoming slave of drinking, slave of smoking, slave of cinemas, slave of smartphone. A man becoming slave of everything. One man had 3 jobs. Morning one job, then daytime one job, and evening one more job. He says, my expenditures are so much, I need 3 jobs, he's saying. So he completely slave. So material energy association makes us increase our slavery and go towards spiritual energy. More and more, you get more and more liberated, free. With nothing you can be happy, because materially in this world, there is no need to possess anything very big, because we are spirit souls. And spirit souls in relation with Krishna, like Prahlad. Prahlad was ecstatic at every moment. Despite so much torture his father gave him. His father deprived him of so many things and tortured him. He was blissfully situated. That is actually an extreme example of the power that you get by connecting with the spiritual energy. Correct, no? On the other hand, this fellow is a Triloka Adhipati, Hiranyakashipu, but Natrapyat Ajitendriya. His senses are not controlled, mind is not controlled, he is mad after one small child, 5-year-old boy, I chant Om Hiranyakashipuve Namah. Chodunga nahi tumko. He is catching that one child and chasing after him, and he wanted to wipe out that child, and finally he himself was wiped out. By Lord Narasimha. So, this is a very amazing pastime. Extreme atheist and extreme theist. Prabhupada says Narottama and Naradama. Two extremes. So, very valuable for us to compare these two personalities and their interaction and what shelter they aspired for and how they lived, so that we preached our minds to follow in the footsteps of Pralhada. That's what Bali Maharaj did. Bali Maharaj said, my grandfather Prahlad, he surrendered to Lord Vishnu, I will also surrender. That's how he surrendered. For us, we need Mahajanas who are striking examples for us. Read about them, internalize their mood in our minds. So, and follow in their footsteps, definitely we will achieve the same destination what they attained. Srila Prabhupada ki, and Srimad Bhagavatam ki. Thank you very much. So there is one special book we want to release today. This is prepared by His Grace Rasavigra Prabhu many years ago. I was very impressed because this book contains a very good material for the counselors. If any counselor want to teach their counselees, especially new counselees, it has all the prayers, it has Vaishnava etiquette, it has holy name related information. Because when newcomers become devotees, they want to know, when they join counselor group, you cannot put them in the senior counselors, senior devotees who are chanting 16 months for 5-6 years. So for new people, it's a very nice book. So at that time I told Prabhuji, why are you just keeping it in PDF? Why don't you publish a book? So it's made a book. Let us see. I can see it. This one? This one, huh? Let us see how it looks like. So it's available for sale also, Prabhu?
No, for circulation.
Circulation. So this is called Counseling Manual. What manual? Counseling Manual. See here, I'll just tell you what is here. See, Mangalacharan, Chikshashtakam, Nam Aparad, an important shloka of Bhagavad Gita, NOI and Ishopanishad and NOD. This is common in every meeting. These 4 things. What are they? Mangalacharan, Chikshashtakam, Nam Aparad and Shloka recitation. Then for other meetings they have, and you also have Vaishnava song also, different songs. Correct. The beauty is you don't have to refer to anything else. Only this book you need, that's all. If you have it in your meeting, just keep it in the front and then you can conduct it. It will be very good. It's very valuable asset for all the counselors, especially when you are bringing new people into your counseling group. Totally, how many meetings can go on? 20 meetings, Prabhu?
20 meetings, 1 year.
So this is 20 meetings in 1 year. So he is going to prepare 2 more, I think, no?
5 years.
He is making material for 5 years. This is for the first year, I think. So you all finish 1 year, by the time he will bring the next one. Second year. So let us thank Rasavigra Prabhu. Haribol!
Because of inspiration, guidance, and support of His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu.